Hey everyone, Maestro here. I am the football enthusiast. Hope you are all well. So, in today's video, you can see on the screen right now, the Premiership has released their nominees for the manager of the season, and I will be going through all the nominees and give my opinion on who I believe deserves the award. Now, the nominees you can see on the screen right now, we have Mikel Arteta of Arsenal, we have Roberto De Zerbi of Brighton Hove Albion, Unai Emery of Aston Villa, Pep Guardiola of Manchester City, Eddie Howe of Newcastle United, and Marco Silva of Fulham to round out all 6 nominees. Now, there can only be 6 nominees. That's how it's always been, I believe. But before I give my opinion on who I think deserves to win it, let's go through who missed it and really could have been in it, and if I think they should be in it. Now, let's start firstly at Bournemouth. Gary O'Neill. To tell the story of why this man should be nominated, or maybe not. I'm not sure if he should be nominated, but I do believe he should be a mention. We need to rewind to the start of the season. Everyone in their mother that I know, every place on social media, when the season starts, we see predictions come in. When the season starts, we see YouTubers, Sky Sports, BT, whoever, give out who they believe will win the league, get top 4, and get relegated. And as far as I remember, on everyone's list, including mine, on everyone's list, Bournemouth was last. I don't think I ever saw anyone even put them 19th. They were always 20th on everyone's list. Why? They have just an awful team. They lost a lot, and it seemed it was time. We didn't believe in Gary O'Neill nor the squad, and that's why it was on everyone's list. And they find themselves right now where we can go to the Premiership table. They are currently on 39 points, 8 points off of 18th place with 2 games in hand. So they're safe. And it's also the fact of the way, because for the first half of the season, our predictions were right. Bournemouth were not doing well at all. They looked like, as we all thought, that they were going down. But Gary O'Neill and Bournemouth and co. turned that around. They really, really did. This is essentially, if you look here in terms of Gary O'Neill's history, this is his first job as a manager. He was an assistant manager at Bournemouth, caretaker manager, and then finally the full-on position as a manager, averaging 1.13 points per game in the Premiership, 10 wins, 16 losses, 6 draws, 36 points, safety for Bournemouth. He deserves huge credit. And he's a young coach at 40, and he is, we will get back to him on if I think he should be nominated, but he is one person you can look at and scratch your head as to why he's not there. Moving on, there is, I believe, only one other guy I want to mention into that did not get nominated that I think that maybe has an argument to be nominated, and it's Ten Hag of Manchester United. I don't have a picture of him, do I? I'll just say Ten Hag is the coach that a lot of United fans kind of upset about. Now, first thing you need to understand is that these nominees are for how you performed in the Premiership. All right, it's the Premier League Manager of the Season. How you performed in the FA Cup, Capital One Cup, or Europa League. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not Capital One Cup. It's the Carabao Cup. Sorry, it does not matter. All that matters is how you performed in the league. Now, with that being said, we've got that cleared out. How did Ten Hag perform in the league? Well, they find themselves currently 4th, 66 points, fighting for top 4 with Liverpool and Newcastle. But seeing as where they were last season, Ten Hag has turned it around. He has his critics, but personally, I think he's done a fantastic job since he's been there. He's working with what he can. I don't believe that, like some United fans, they say that he's had no support in the transfer window. I don't believe that. He spent a lot of money on Casemiro and a few other players. So the idea that he also bought in Anthony, etc. He has had some support, but still not what he really went into a mess. There's more. It's not his fault that amount of money was needed, and not to mention even more money is definitely needed for the United side. And with what he has, I think he's done a great job. But I'll start with him and then move on to Gary O'Neill. I don't think Ten Hag should be nominated. I really don't. Once again, this is just the Premiership you need to take into account. If you take into account the League Cup, FA Cup, And the Europa League, then yeah, he deserves to be nominated. But that's not what we're doing here. That's not what this is for. This is for the Premiership. So with that being said, I do not believe he should be nominated. As to why, look, he has, if let's say they finish fourth, if that's the case, he's achieved what he set out to do. Manchester United were pipped by a lot of people to finish for fourth in the first place. So it's not a huge surprise. Not to mention, if you look at their squad, yes, the reason why Manchester United is a mess is because of the mentality issues with that club. And also there are a few duds. But same reason why he's doing so well is that whilst there are a bunch of duds, there are also a bunch of gems. Not gems, but just fantastic players. Bruno Fernandes he's a fantastic player. Yes, you have your Maguires, but for every Maguire, you have a Bruno Fernandes. You know? You have a Lindelof, you've got a Rashford, and he's been great, Lindelof. You know, you have a McTominay, you have a Luke Shaw, fantastic player. You have a Fred, you have a Casemiro, or Rashford, or Wan-Bissaka, or Lisandro Martinez. You know, there are duds in this team that have negatively impacted this squad for quite a while, but they're also very, very good players. And with the squad that he has, and with the way everyone else is performing, I believe he's done of what should be expected of this side. It's nothing crazy. And ultimately, the manager of the year, for me, these nominees, you can see all here, they all overachieved / are top. Like, Arteta overachieved, Zerbi overachieved, Unai Emery, Howe, Silva, they overachieved for me. Guardiola didn't overachieve, but he is winning the league. So you have to have the winning manager in the nominations no matter what. So with that being said, I believe Ten Hag is rightly left out of the nominees. Now, Gary O'Neill, going back to him, why? I do believe he should be nominated. I do. I go back to what I said at the start. No one had them safe. No one. It was an atrocious team. And the fact that they're easily safe, I mean, they were safe 2 weeks ago, something like that. The fact that they're safe very early on, not early on, but like, they'll finish around, they are currently 14th. They could finish 12th. They genuinely could. The fact that they're safe now already, it's a fantastic achievement. I do believe he should get in there. And as to who, the thing is, you can only have 6, so who leaves? Well, I believe it's one of these two, Marco Silva or Unai Emery. Now let's go through their performances this season. In the Premiership, Marco Silva with 36 matches has 1.42 points per match. Unai Emery, who joined a quarter through the season, has 23 matches, 14 wins, 6 losses, 1.96 points per match. So he's got a much higher points per game average than Marco Silva, almost half a point higher. That's a lot higher. And out of these, so I do think one of these two, I think Gary O'Neill has outperformed both these managers in terms of just, I think Gary O'Neill deserves this nomination over both these guys. But it's only one guy taking the place, so only one guy can leave. For me, I'm going to go ahead and say that Marco Silva should leave. Look, he started the season fantastic. Fulham were flying high. There was even talk about possible top 4 or European qualification for Fulham. But whilst that was a great run that ultimately made them safe from relegation very early on, they fell apart greatly. And Unai Emery, look, you can say because he hasn't been here the whole season, he shouldn't even be eligible. But he is eligible. And even if he had, for me, if Unai Emery had 36 games instead of 20, if he came at the start of the season instead of a quarter through, I think if you, with the way you're looking at the table, Aston Villa, I think they could actually get 6th or 5th. Like, I'm not even kidding. I mean, even right now, they can't get it. Right now, with the little time he's had Emery with this squad, 6 is right there. They're 1 point off. All right? So with more time, you're maybe even thinking possibly a top 4 qualification. Now, I don't think they would have gone top 4, but the challenge would be there. They definitely finish above Tottenham, I think. And they'd be challenging for Brighton, in my personal opinion. So I'm going to go with Unai Emery staying in, Marco Silva leaving, and Gary O'Neill inside the nomination. So I do agree with all but one. I think Gary O'Neill should be in there instead of Marco Silva. But it is what it is. It's not really a big deal because I don't think either of them should win it. My pick to win this is Arteta. For me, I'm sorry, it has to be Arteta. Look, I'm going to start by saying this. If you don't know me, I am an Arsenal fan. And I know a lot of you guys have already shut off from that, saying, oh, wow, he's saying it because he's an Arsenal fan. But listen, I made this channel to be as impartial as possible. I am not a biased guy. You know, I personally, of course, I want my team to do well. But if they don't, I'm not going to say it. It's just who I am. I've never been a guy that's always favored. I mean, when I was a child, just a quick little story. And when I was young, I used to think Sanchez was better than Eden Hazard. But when I grew up, I realized, oh, no, Hazard is actually a lot better than Sanchez. Sanchez is amazing. Alexis Sanchez was fantastic, world class. But Hazard, I believe, was on a different level. The thing is, so what happened is I just grew up. And I realized, oh, I was just being biased then because I was a young teenager. I didn't know. I was just being silly. Now I'm at an age now where I don't really look. I say what I think. It's got nothing to do with what shirt they put on. It's what I think, and what I think is Arteta. He is the manager of the season. As to why, remember, so each and every manager here has overperformed. Apart from Pep, he's going to win the title as expected, but you have to have the winning manager here, and no one has De Zerbi has overperformed greatly, yes, but Arteta has taken, he's overperformed at a higher level than all these guys. De Zerbi is close, I believe, but with Unai Emery, he has a good squad. I believe he should be doing this well, getting top mid-table. Newcastle are a fantastic squad. He is also overachieving a lot, but the thing is, Arsenal are almost 20 points ahead of Newcastle. So that's actually not true. 13 points ahead of Newcastle. It could be more by the end of the season. So there's a huge gap between Arsenal and Newcastle. So that right there, I believe, whilst Eddie Howe has also overachieved a lot, not as much as Arsenal. Now, you might be saying, no, he hasn't overachieved. Arteta has done what he should have done, which is ridiculous. No one, like I said before with Bournemouth and Gary O'Neill, when I said that no one expected Bournemouth to stay up. Most 90% of people that I spoke to, listened to, watched on YouTube, listened to on the radio, etc., they did not have Arsenal in the top 4. And we find ourselves this season fighting for the league. We are currently in game week 37, and we can't actually still win the league. Now, of course, it's not going to happen. City will just win one more game, but the fact that it's still not over when there's only 2 games left, with a side with the average age of 24 against an elite Manchester City team on the cusp of achieving a treble, and some people pipping this City squad as one of the best in English history. But once again, a very young side that last season finished 5th. How is that anything but just an amazing job? Now, quick mention, De Zerbi, he has been tremendous. But at the same time, I have nothing bad to say about De Zerbi or Eddie Howe or Guardiola. Actually, well, Pep will talk about in a second. De Zerbi and there are criticisms I think for Emery and Silva, of course, but I have nothing bad to say about De Zerbi, Howe, or Gary O'Neill. I just think Arteta is just, my praise for him surpasses my praise for those 3 I just mentioned. Now, in terms of Pep, look, Pep, he has the best squad in this league by an absolute country mile. Even if Pep wasn't the coach, if it was, I don't know, if it was anyone else in Europe, with that squad that you have, you still expect them to win the league, with or without Pep. Now, of course, I know Pep is a huge influence, and his effect on City is fantastic. In fact, without Pep, City wouldn't have 5 Premier Leagues in 6 years, nor were they fighting for a treble. They would have been knocked out by Real Madrid without Pep in terms of his way of playing. But they still be favourites for the league. They are so much better than everyone else in the league. It's not even close. So that's why I'm going to leave Pep out of this. I don't think he should be manager of the year. And once again, that for me leaves Arteta. He is for me my manager of the season. This is not a biased opinion, it's my personal opinion. He has done something absolutely tremendous. We are challenging against one of the best sides in history with a squad of an average age of 24. That is absolutely insane. With a much smaller budget, by the way. So yeah, that's my pick, guys, for the manager of the year. And also, like I said before, I do think Gary O'Neill was snubbed, and I think he should have been in here instead of Marco Silva. That's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please leave a like. If you don't agree or agree, just comment down below. We can have a discussion going. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe for more. Have a great day, and as always, please take care of yourselves.